The book of 2 John, or the second letter of John, is the shortest book in the New Testament. It's just 13 verses long. It's written from John the Elder. It's very much like 1 John and 3 John, the other letters of John in the New Testament, in that it talks about similar themes. One of the main themes is he calls upon the people that he's writing to love one another. There's a story that one of the early church fathers, a person called Jerome, told. He said about the aging John that he used to be carried to church week after week because he was so old and frail. And all he used to say to the people was, "Little children, love one another." And, they would get tired of hearing the same thing, and they would say, "Well, why are you just telling us that again?" And he said, "That's what Jesus commanded. So if you love one another, that's enough." And that's what we find in this letter. So he says, "I ask you, not as though I were writing you a new commandment, but one we have had from the beginning, let us love one another." And so that's a key thing for 2 John, that they love one another. This is written by John the Elder, and so it simply begins, "The Elder." Is John the Elder the same John who wrote John's Gospel and John's Revelation? Well, that's one of the big questions that is discussed. It certainly has a similarity of style to John's Gospel and in some ways to the book of Revelation. And so together, John's Gospel, John's letters and Revelation are called the Johannine literature, the John literature. There's one interesting bit in here where he refers to Antichrists. And let's see, he says, "Many deceivers have gone out into the world, those who do not confess that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh. Any such person is the deceiver and the Antichrist." So what's interesting is that for John, there's not one Antichrist who comes at the end of time, but rather anyone who sets themselves up in opposition to Jesus, who came in the flesh as Jesus Christ, the Son of God, that person can be called Antichrist. So it's not just a single figure, but rather a spirit, if you like, that people can take on.